What's up, everybody? We're about to go on an adventure. An adventure in Retardville. This is really funny. I'm gonna go do blackface.
Like me, they look up and see a face like mine looking down at them.
I hear a spoiled piece of crap. Checkmate, sexism. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalone here, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in Retardville, the show where we take the piss out of a few of the dumbest things that have happened over the past few weeks. It's been quite a long time since I have journeyed into Retardville with all of you, and, well, let's just say, as soon as I heard the wonderful theme music, I instantly failed No Nut November. Anyway, enough jokes, because today we have enough stupid things to talk about, as neo-Nazis have in mental illnesses. Now today I have installed a nifty little buzzer, which will alert me whenever I say something that's too offensive. I seriously wish I didn't need this thing, but apparently it's good for PR. And by PR, I'm pretty sure they mean protecting retards. Now our first story is absolutely spicy. Ladies and gentlemen, Wait, what did I just say that was offensive? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen... Oh no. This is a huge step backwards for people kind. Theaters will ban the phrase ladies and gentlemen under new guidelines from Actors Union Equity. Campaigners for LGBT rights say that such phrases as ladies and gentlemen exclude people who do not identify as male or female, but rather as non-binary, such as singer Sam Smith. Yeah, is anyone really that surprised? I mean, the theater has always been where the gays have hung out. That is, before Chick-fil-A. But yeah, once again, we are seeing LGBT campaigners attempting to do away with a phrase that, as far as my understanding goes, doesn't offend a single person from the LGBT community. This is not a decision being made by non-binary people or whatever. This is a decision being made by LGBT campaigners who want to virtue signal for the LGBT community. Coming to the theater is a shared and communal experience in one single auditorium, and we want to please our audience and give them a great evening. We wouldn't want anyone to feel offended or annoyed. Okay, I mean, I understand this. You wouldn't want to annoy anyone, like the majority of people who go to the theater that aren't gender fluid. I agree we should stick up for that community, and I have nothing wrong with being inclusive, but welcoming your guests to the theater by saying, penises, vaginas, and hermaphrodites, enjoy the show, doesn't seem to be doing much for anyone, except me, because it once again reminds me that I've failed No Nut November, and my telekinesis abilities are far out of reach. Anyway, let's move on to our next story about SpongeBob SquarePants. That's right, the cartoon that is loved by everyone. Well, that is, almost everyone. Because as we all know, if something is generally liked by the public, some sad divorced liberal has to come along and point out how it's actually problematic. SpongeBob is a violent racist colonizer, says University of Washington professor. For a recently published academic journal, the professor Holly M. Barker wrote an article, Unsettling SpongeBob and the Legacies of Violence on Bikini Bottom, in which she offers a different take on the affable sea sponge. Barker calls SpongeBob's colonization of Bikini Bottom violent and racist, and also claims that the cartoon is guilty of the whitewashing of violent American military activities against natives of the Pacific. Well, what on earth is next? The show is offensive towards liberals since Patrick Star acts autistic? Guys, this isn't a joke. I thought it was at first also, but I checked. It is gravely serious. There's a fine line between being woke and being stupid. And sweetheart, I'm gonna have to call you Pedro, because you just crossed the border. Barker's beliefs come from the idea that the show is set in a version of the real-life Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands. During the Cold War, natives of the area were relocated, and the American military used the zone for nuclear testing. Barker stated that, as an American character allowed to inhabit an area that natives had no choice but to leave, SpongeBob showed his privilege of not caring about the detonation of nuclear bombs. Where on earth did this professor get her certification? Trump University? How far up your own woke hole do you have to be to guess the historical context around SpongeBob and then get offended by it. Barker also points out the cultural appropriation of Pacific culture with Hawaiian-style shirts, homes in the shapes of pineapples, tikis, and Easter Island heads, and the sounds of a steel guitar, perpetrating stereotypes of the region. Well, this is yet another reason why tenure should be abolished. How is this cultural appropriation if the characters actually live there? I mean, if we want to get literal, aren't SpongeBob and his friends native to the land they inhabit? I'm not even slightly surprised that this woke nonsense was conjured up by a professor with the last name Barker, because she sounds like a bitch. Other issues for Barker: a perceived imbalance between male and female characters, and the name Bob representing an everyman rather than a culturally appropriate character. I'm pretty sure if they named him Sponge Akeelia, you'd be crying that it was cultural appropriation. In the article, Barker claims that because of these themes, children have become accultured to an ideology that includes the US character SpongeBob residing on another people's homeland. This settles it. The next conquest will be led by SpongeBob SquarePants. This is laughably dumb. How anyone could find this many issues with a G-rated cartoon is beyond me and kind of sad. Horrifically enough, I'm still not even slightly surprised. When your life is so boring and lonely that you start picking apart the imaginary political themes behind a kid's show, well, it may be time to get remarried. Speaking of woke culture ruining my will to live, in the new game of Monopoly, women make more than men. One of America's most recognizable board games is getting an upgrade. Hasbro is debuting a new game celebrating women's empowerment, Miss Monopoly, marking the first time in Monopoly history when a new mascot will be featured on the cover of the game. The twist? In Miss Monopoly, female players will get more money. Unlike the classic game, women will collect 240 Monopoly bucks when they pass go, while male players will collect the usual 200. The idea is to create a game where women make more than men, the first game to do so, according to Hasbro. Yes, I like this. Let's celebrate female empowerment by giving special treatment to the poor fragile women. Honestly, this is kind of demeaning. Like, are girls genuinely excited to play a game where it's written in the rules that they will receive more money because they are female? I mean, hell, Monopoly ruined friendships before. Now it'll start up a big political debate about the wage gap before the dice has even been rolled. The wage gap has been debunked so many times, it's actually quite stale to see this nonsense popping up once again. I mean, if you really want to make a realistic Miss Monopoly, have the woman start out with more money. Not because of some wage gap BS, but because of alimony. Finally, we reach our last story, and this story is definitely the most serious of all of them. Daddy's little rich boy, Richard Spencer, was caught on recording throwing a massive temper tantrum. I do not use these phrases lightly, but for those of you who don't know, Richard Spencer is a white supremacist neo-Nazi who gained popularity by presenting himself as this posh, sort of respectable figurehead of the alt-right. He's actually even credited as the man who coined the term alt-right. Anyone who isn't a brainlet already knows Richard Spencer is a gigantic piece of crap, but this leaked audio only solidifies what so many of us already knew.
I am coming back here every weekend if I have to. Like, this is never over. I win, they lose. That's how the world works. Little they get ruled by people like me. My ancestors enslaved those pieces of.
We're gonna win.
I rule the world. Those pieces of get ruled by people like me. They look up and see a face like mine looking down at them. That's how the world works. We are gonna destroy this town.
He sounds like a spoiled, unhinged mental patient who didn't get what he wanted for Christmas. Actually, no, that's far too charitable. He sounds like Adolf Hitler before he was taken off of suicide watch. This should finally dispel the myth of the civil neo-Nazi. They just don't exist. No matter how well spoken, no matter how posh their sweater vest, they're always full of vitriol hatred. Richard Spencer might look nice and present himself as this friendly guy, but but this leaked audio exposes him for the monster that he truly is. Richard Spencer is basically an ideological Ted Bundy. Just imagine throwing a temper tantrum this big and then calling other people degenerates. Sorry bro, but I don't think you can blame the Jews for this one. Well, there you have it folks, our dangerous expedition into Retardville as we looked over some of the dumbest things that have happened over the past few weeks. I must say this entire ordeal has been really quite frightening. Please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all soon. Peace.
Why you gotta be a dick to the kid?